All right, let's go to Sami in Billings, Montana. What's up, Sami?
Hello, Dr. Don.
How we doing?
Good. Thank you for taking my call.
Of course. Thanks for being available. What's up?
Yes. First, I'm not a native English speaker, so I apologize in advance.
I am a
For any
native
mistakes.
English speaker, and nobody can understand me either. So we're in the same boat this morning.
Okay. So I am a pathological liar. And
I don't believe you. Just kidding. Just kidding. Well, tell me about it.
Well, I don't know when it exactly developed, but I mean it started affecting my job performance right now, and I guess my family life too, and yeah. So I don't know how to solve this.
What do you lie about?
Well, even the smallest insignificant thing, I lie about them, and sometimes I embellish events, and yeah, and
I know, but give me some examples. What do you lie about?
Well, sometimes I would be talking to a friend, and my wife would ask me about what I was talking about, and it's nothing significant, but I tend to lie about that. So things like this, and I guess last week I lied about something I did. I made a mistake on my job, a really small mistake, but I didn't tell anyone, and I guess they found out, and it made it worse than it is.
Yeah, it usually does. How long?
Yeah.
How long have you been in the States?
So 10 years.
10 years.
So I'm originally from the Middle East.
Okay.
And
how old are you?
32.
Did you lie when you were 21?
Yes.
Yeah.
So back home, I had a really my dad was a scary dude, and I think he so maybe I think I started lying first to him when he would ask me about stuff.
When you say scary dude, was he abusive? Did he hurt you?
No, but verbally.
Okay.
Physically, not a lot, but more verbally.
But some physical.
Not a lot. I mean,
but some.
Yeah, I guess 4 or 5 times.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Let me jump in here. So, anytime we have some type of behavior that in a way becomes automated or becomes a habit, it becomes a default setting. I always want to and back out and take a 30,000-foot view of the behavior. And I always want to ask one overarching question. For the last 150 years or so, maybe a little bit longer, the questions we have asked at that 30,000-foot view range from what happened to you when you were a kid to what's wrong with your brain chemistry to any number of questions. The question I don't hear asked very often that I'm trying to be more assertive in changing the public's narrative and how we answer, how we approach some of these challenges. And this is where whether I'm reaching for junk food when I get stressed, or whether I reach for another drink when I get frustrated, or when I respond to a text of somebody I'm not married to because it makes my heart beat a little bit faster, or if I just default to telling to lying all the time. The question I want us to ask is, what is my body trying to protect me from? Because I'm convinced that all of the architecture of where some of these challenges distill in the brain and in the body cascade out in a million different ways, physiologically and genetically. All these things are all over the place. But at the core is you have a body that's trying to protect you from what? Getting hit when you were a kid, or getting screamed at when you were a kid, getting left by your wife, being judged, getting fired from your job and being ashamed. What is your body trying to protect you from, Sami? And by the way, this isn't just in moments when you lie. This is all the time. This little machine is running underneath the surface.
I guess being discovered.
What would somebody find?
I mean, logically speaking, it's not anything bad. I mean, relatively compared to.
Yeah, but let's take logic out the window, because logically, not admitting to a small little issue at work doesn't make sense. And so logic doesn't count here. Be honest. What is your body trying to protect you from? Can I throw some things out there that might help?
Yes.
I bet you are, and tell me if I'm wrong, I bet you are profoundly and deeply lonely. I bet your wife is one of the only, if not the only, people that you can truly count on, and even that has a strange hierarchy in the relationship to it. And your friends are kind of your friends, but they kind of work together. My guess is you've got stress about money. My guess is you've got stress about a whole family unit back home telling you what you need to be doing and how successful you need to be. Am I on to the right track at all?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know. I think I have two personalities, like one that's inside and the other is what I face the world with.
Okay. I'm convinced that the core human need is this. When you distill everything down, the core human need is this. If people actually knew me, would they still love me? And here's my promise to you. Well, let me back out. There is no psychiatric consensus. So if you look at all of the literature, there's no consensus on pathological lying as a disorder. They even took it out of the last DSM-5 for people who give a crap about that stupid book. It's not even a tangible concept, if you will. It's floating around, right? And so we're going to ask ourselves, what is our body trying to protect us from? And you've given me, in just a few short minutes, you've given me some insights. You come from a really abusive home. You're dropped into Billings, Montana, as a kid who grew up in the Middle East, who's learning the language in real time. You're like trying to change the oil on the car as you're driving. You have a job with a lot of stress. You've got a marriage. You're isolated. You don't have your whole community with you all the time. And as you mentioned, you've got an inside guy inside your body that thinks a certain way and talks a certain way and has certain views on the world, and you have an external way you present yourself. Carl Rogers called that a lack of congruence. You have to bring the inside out. Okay? And so here's what that looks like. You have to find people that you can trust, that you will say those inside things out loud. Period. I'm terrified about fill in the blank. I hate fill in the blank. The politics of so-and-so makes me want to vomit. If I see another fill in the blank, fill in the blank, fill in the blank, you have to be committed. And if you cheated on your wife, you've got to say it out loud. If you did some things in the Middle East that you're not proud of and you're here trying to recreate your life, you've got to speak them out loud. You've got to find people that you trust. That might be a therapist. That might be a religious pastor, a religious leader. That might be a couple of close friends, but you have to make that commitment. And then when it comes to lying, I want you to change your identity completely, okay? Here's how we do that. I want you to begin to repeat on a daily basis, I am a man who only honors the truth. I'm a man who only speaks the truth. I'm a man who only says the truth. And you're going to have to practice being awkward in those moments.
So with practice, it'll get better.
It will get better only if you go all in. This is like stopping drinking. If you're an alcoholic, you can't limit your drinks to Fridays and Saturdays because you'll end up hungover until Thursday, and then you'll start right back up again. This means that you're going to say something. Your wife's going to come in and say, who you're on the phone with? And you're going to say, oh, it was my dad. But actually, it wasn't. It was a friend from work. And you're going to have to stop yourself and say, I just told you my dad. That wasn't true. It was my friend from work. Your wife's going to come in and say, hey, where were you last night? And you're going to say, oh, I had to work late. And you're going to have to stop and go, no, I wasn't. I was out with some friends. I stayed late talking to this woman that I kind of have an attraction to, and we probably need to talk about whatever the thing is. You screw something up at work, you're going to stop what you're doing and go find your immediate leader and supervisor and say, hey, I just made this small mistake. Here's how I'm correcting it. Or here's how I've already corrected it. Here's how I'm about to correct it. You're going to practice telling the truth. And when you tell it, you're going to feel so exposed and naked and terrified. I want you to feel that. Absolutely feel that in your bones. And exhale. This is the heading into that storm. I'm a guy who only tells the truth. I'm a guy who tells the truth. I'm a guy who tells the truth. And I will tell you, Sammy, I was a guy that lied about everything to everyone all the time. Always. And then I changed my identity. And now I've become pathological about truth telling to the point that I have to be careful because I can come across as a jerk about it. But there will only be telling the truth from this point forward. Your relationships aren't worth it. Your mental health isn't worth it. Your emotional health isn't worth it. Losing your wife isn't worth it. Losing your job's not worth it. Tell the truth. Bring the inside guy out. Let the world meet that guy. Be fully you. Be fully you.